because there's a point where it kind of gets aggressive. He says, you're gonna find out, like how I'll handle this. And that's an attorney want to be combative with another attorney. That's not like the publicist would say those things.
But one time walking in the studio, and it was like a small gap, and Bleak Beans, everybody was in there, and I was like, man, I'm telling you, man, y'all got a chance right now. Just flood it, put out a lot of music, because 50 Cent is coming.
Behind the scenes, 50 Cent was reportedly pushing to include explosive footage and testimony that went far beyond rumors or industry whispers, material that allegedly tied Jay-Z directly to serious wrongdoing connected to Diddy. These weren't vague accusations or recycled gossip. The claims centered on knowledge, involvement, and deliberate cover-ups. And when the pressure mounted, 50 Cent didn't deny it. He didn't soften his stance. He didn't walk anything back. Instead, he confirmed, plainly and without hesitation, that the footage exists. He said he has it. And that single admission changed everything.
And I know, 50, the way you run, this cannot be all that you have. Is there other stuff that you just have not shown?
Yeah, well, everything couldn't make it was 4 episodes.
Right.
So it was a lot. You had to pick and choose things.
According to sources close to the situation, that footage matters because it allegedly shows Jay-Z was aware of illegal activity happening around him and chose not to intervene. Even more troubling, it suggests he may have benefited from remaining silent while others were harmed. That isn't just a moral failure. If proven, that crosses into criminal territory.
How many victims?
There was none for her.
How many victims potentially do you think there could be?
Thousands. Thousands. I've talked to hundreds that I deal with still myself. I have 3 victims right now who are willing to give testimony about not only what Mr. Carter has done to them, but his wife as well. They're a nasty little couple. They do nasty things.
Gene Deal, Diddy's former bodyguard, reinforced those claims by stating that Jay-Z and Diddy were far closer than Jay-Z's legal team later suggested. Not casual acquaintances, not distant business associates. Close enough, he said, to understand what was really happening behind closed doors. And that's where the prison talk begins. According to these allegations, Jay-Z didn't simply miss the warning signs. He allegedly knew. He allegedly stayed silent. And those around him were allegedly paid off or pressured into silence to keep everything buried. That moves beyond moral failure into obstruction territory, conspiracy territory, prison territory. When Jaguar Wright began making similar claims publicly, her interviews were removed almost immediately. She continued speaking out, and not long after, her son was tragically killed, a detail that has only intensified scrutiny and raised chilling questions about just how far the silence may have gone.
And died because he was my son.
He died because of your
He was targeted because he's my son.
He
was working on his EP. I bought Dalladelphia for him so he didn't have to sign to a company because I knew what it was going to do. He interned at Roc Nation. And they approached him to sacrifice me. I saw his death when he was 19. I moved us here to stop it, to prevent it, to avoid it. They take them anyway to show you what the harm is. Giovanni, his death is why I do what I do.
Clips began vanishing. Conversations quietly disappeared. The same kind of cleanup sources say followed the documentary as well. But now, it appears 50 Cent is reopening the past, allegedly bringing in Jaguar Wright to confront what she describes as a long-buried history of wrongdoing. At the center of her claims is one of the most controversial allegations of all, alleged complicity surrounding the death of Aaliyah. And whenever Jaguar Wright speaks about what happened to Aaliyah, she always returns to the same unsettling question: why was it never properly investigated? Not partially, not discreetly, not at all.
It was never investigated. Hype was never questioned. Lenny Kravitz made a statement, and it was never publicized. She was unconscious. She didn't choose to get on that plane. There were phone calls made. There are witnesses who signed NDAs. Why would you need to sign a non-disclosure agreement about a plane crash and what happened leading up to it? Please, someone answer that.
Do you feel like the night?
Why the fuck would you need to sign? A nigga don't ask about a plane crash if it was accidental.
Do you feel like?
Riddle me that. Riddle me that. Work with me here in this moment.
And I'm gonna ask you.
A plane crash should be accidental.
Should be.
Why would any testimony about what happened leading up to it need to be covered under a non-disclosure agreement if there wasn't foul play?
In Jaguar Wright's view, NDAs don't appear unless someone is trying to keep the full story from coming out. She claims that more than 25 non-disclosure agreements were signed and paid out after Aaliyah's death. Agreements, she says, covered what people saw, what they heard, and what occurred in the moments leading up to the flight. And once again, she asks the same question. Why? Then, she turns her focus to Jay-Z.
Carter, now I'm going to ask you, why would non-disclosure agreements need to be signed for an accident?
Hey.
There were over 25 non-disclosure agreements cashed out and recorded regarding the death of that beautiful girl and every other human being that died on that plane with her. What the fuck? Would you need a nigga don't ask for that? And Diddy had Hype Williams on the balls. Belly was a money pit.
Without question.
And Jay-Z got 10 free videos out of it. And Hype didn't work for free.
In Jaguar Wright's view, none of that was coincidence. She believes favors were exchanged, silence was rewarded, and those who knew the truth were paid to keep it buried. And that, she says, is exactly why Jay-Z's name is almost never mentioned when Aaliyah's death is discussed publicly.
Think about this. Sean Carter is responsible for enacting Hype Williams to put Aaliyah on a faulty plane to move her out the way as punishment for rejecting him, and so he could level up Beyonce, who was struggling. Let's just say allegedly that happened. Now I want you to think about 106th and Park with Mary J. Blige. Free, who is a victim of Sean Carter.
Yeah.
Mary J. Blige, who is a victim of Sean Combs, are sitting there talking about the death of Aaliyah amongst each other. Think about that. You got a Diddy victim, you got a Jay-Z victim, and you got a superstar gone. They know what happened. And yet, they had to sit there and have that conversation like they didn't know who did it.
Jaguar Wright's central argument is simple, but serious. If Aaliyah's death were truly just an accident, there would be no need for secrecy, legal silence, or quiet payouts. And the fact that Jay-Z's career took a dramatic leap forward soon after, while questions faded and scrutiny disappeared, is exactly why she believes his role deserves real investigation. After the deaths of Tupac and Biggie, the battle for the top spot in rap narrowed to two names, Nas and Jay-Z. According to Jaguar, once that shift happened, everything began breaking in Jay-Z's favor. She claims Nas slowly unraveled and was pushed out of the spotlight, while Jay-Z kept rising, album after album, deal after deal. Suddenly, he was everywhere. Around that same period, Jay-Z was working closely with R. Kelly. They released multiple records together and even toured together. Jaguar claims they also shared a close connection to Aaliyah. And in her words, these weren't separate worlds operating in isolation. They were all connected. Asterisk, asterisk.
It's all Jay-Z.
It's all Jay-Z. And he was working with R. Kelly, and they were making so many records together. You know, they made all those records together. They both fucked Aaliyah. They shared so much in common. You know? And then there was a falling out. And that's like it never happened. Whoever talks about best of the both worlds, best of both worlds. Nobody talks about that.
Nobody talks about this shit.
Nobody talks about that project.
That nigga swept that smooth under the rug.
Why?
We know why.
You know what? I got a better question.
Yeah.
How valuable is a Biggie Smalls verse?
Yeah.
Puffy has been making money off of Biggie's name for longer than Biggie was alive. People keep forgetting he hadn't turned 25 yet. He was still 24 when he died. It's been over 25 years. Fucking Puffy has been making money on that boy's name longer than he lived. It supported all of Bad Boy. His catalog. Clearly, a Biggie Smalls verse is very valuable. Am I wrong? Does anybody disagree with me?
No, that's facts.
So then what the fuck happened to the commission? What happened to that album?
Right.
It was recorded. It was being mixed and mastered upon Biggie's death. It was supposed to have came out that summer after Biggie's album because Biggie's album was slated. He died a week and a half before his album came out. Then the commission was supposed to come out, and that was supposed to be his exit from Bad Boy. And then starting his own company. So tell me something. And this ain't me being an asshole. I think everybody that knows Sean Carter knows that he will slump anyone in any relationship for $1.
Jaguar Wright also points to a pattern she says repeats throughout Jay-Z's rise, moving on from people who helped build his early success once they were no longer useful. She specifically brings up Dame Dash, arguing that the way that partnership ended revealed just how far Jay-Z was willing to go to protect money, power, and control.
You know, like if I'm trying to sell something, him and his lawyers, Alex Shapiro, putting a false lawsuit on me, like, you know, like that, devaluing anything that I have or trying to sell. But, you know, or even down to like, we were selling Rockware, right, for like $400 million or whatever. I was gonna make $40 million. And right before Tommy Hilfiger signs the papers, he makes an announcement saying that he's not f***ing with Rockware, that he's only f***ing with S. Carter. The whole shit up. And I just feel like he did that only because I was gonna make $40 million. Like he just couldn't see, like they get so mad if I'm gonna make money off them. Like every time I could have made a really big check, he's always stepped in and intentionally f***ed it up. Every time. Listen, don't ask me, ask the rest of the industry. Like, you know, that's why I got the f*** away. I mean, one of the reasons. Like Jay, I like the way I would look at it, like if you could compare him to like a character now, I'd say he's like the Penguin. He's like ruthless like that with his friends or people that help him. At least that's how.
She then connects it back to Aaliyah. Jaguar Wright claims Aaliyah's death occurred at a moment when multiple careers were quietly shifting behind the scenes. She points out that in the aftermath, Jay-Z's world continued to expand while others slowly faded from view. And after spending enough time in the industry, she says, patterns become impossible to ignore, especially when the same name keeps surviving every storm.
And then Aaliyah died. And then they brought Rich Harrison in, and you know, kind of think it's crazy right now. She liked posing with him in pictures for Page Six. Aaliyah didn't. She fell in love with Dane. And Aaliyah's gone, and you know. You have to start asking yourself questions after being in this business for this long. If you're a halfway intelligent person, when do you start questioning how lucky some motherfuckers keep getting?
Right.
Is it really a conspiracy if the same person keeps benefiting off the same kind of tragedy over and over and over again? So to answer your question, I'm sure he's always going to be a billionaire, and I'm sure he's got great things to happen. I mean, look, he's got the job with the NFL. He's hooking all his friends up with the halftime shows. I mean, think about it. Think about the halftime shows. Jennifer Lopez, Shakira, all Roc Nation. Now Rihanna, and then we had the whole LA thing, which of course he was involved in that, and then they pulled Mary J. Blige off to, you know, make sure she got that money for Kendall, and you know, they had that whole moment, you know, but all he's doing is using his friends and the people that he fucks with, or at least the people that signs his non-disclosure agreements. He keeps getting them the Super Bowl gigs. So I mean, like, he's doing all kinds of stuff, you know, and I do not begrudge him. It's just, if you gotta do the kind of things that he's done to get where he's gotten, well, fuck it. I don't want it that bad.
According to Jaguar Wright, the story surrounding Jay-Z and young artists is one of the most sensitive topics in the industry, something people were always afraid to say out loud. She points to Rihanna as one of the most troubling examples. Jaguar claims that when Rihanna first entered the industry, she was still underage, yet was treated less like a child in need of protection and more like a high-value business asset. She insists this didn't happen by accident. According to her, powerful figures connected to Jay-Z helped move Rihanna through rooms, parties, and situations she believes no minor should have been exposed to, shielded by influence, silence, and industry power.
Jaguar Wright explained how Rihanna was sold to Jay-Z at 16 years old. She explained how it was super sketchy that Rihanna got brought to America at only 16 years old without any parental supervision, and how she auditioned for Jay-Z at 3 o'clock in the morning. She explained how it didn't make sense that Rihanna's parents would let her fly by herself after just meeting Evan Roberts all the way to America to meet with Jay-Z in the middle of the night. And she alleged that Rihanna's dad got a $500,000 payout for letting this happen. She alleged since this was all out of the blue, Rihanna would have had to flown on a private plane to get from Barbados to America because she wouldn't have had a visa and her parents were not around with her to fly to America. And Rihanna even explained how Jay-Z would not let her leave until she signed the recording contract, and the label locked her in the office until 3 a.m.
You've gone through some big changes since you've been signed at Def Jam. Can you tell me what are the biggest changes you've gone through from St. Michael's, Barbados until now you being a superstar?
Well, one of them for sure is being away from my friends and family. After growing up around my mom and all my friends for 17 years and then moving to a big city with no one because all my family and friends are still in Barbados. So after moving to a big city with, you know, basically around strangers, that was the hardest thing for me to cope with at first.
Are you lonely sometimes?
I wasn't lonely, but I really do miss my family and my friends.
And a lot of people have speculated this for years about Rihanna because people found it super weird. Right before Jay-Z signed Rihanna, he was working heavily with a 16-year-old Tierra Marie who signed to Def Jam by L.A. Reid. And after a while, there was rumors circulating all over that Tierra Marie and Rihanna actually had a fallout because Rihanna's career skyrocketed and Tierra Marie got let go from Def Jam. And allegedly, Tierra Marie is the Jane Doe that is suing Diddy and L.A. Reid for SA when she was just 16 years old.
Jonathan Hay, who worked in public relations during that period, backs this up with a chilling first-hand account. According to him, nearly everyone around Rihanna believed she was older than she actually was, and that belief allowed her to be moved freely through clubs, industry events, and restricted spaces where ID was mandatory. The truth only came out one night when she was asked for identification and couldn't produce it. That's when people realized she was just 17. By then, as Jaguar Wright claims, the damage was already done. Rihanna's original team, the people who genuinely cared about her safety, were quietly pushed out. New handlers replaced them, and anyone who dared to ask questions or raise concerns suddenly found themselves frozen out. Jonathan explains this is how the industry really silences people. No warnings, no announcements, no official blacklist. The work simply dries up. Doors stop opening. Calls go unanswered. And just like that, you're erased.
And then we were almost blacklisted.
Oh no, absolutely blacklisted. They didn't tell you you were blacklisted. It's just the jobs that you used to get easy. All of a sudden there were other people. There was a new direction. There were restaurants you used to eat at that were always sold out. Your table wasn't available. It is the shunning.
Yeah, exactly.
Social shunning. And then when people that you know who you are, start talking about you behind your back in ways that they never did. And all of a sudden their career begins to elevate.
Yeah.
It's social engineering. And the sad thing about it is, every last rapper that you said fucked you over also happens to be a government informant.
Yeah.
Why would you think that you had a chance against these people when everything that they do, the government seems to ignore? It seems like they were untouchable because you didn't know that they had a deal.
Right.
They had permission to act like assholes and never have to be accountable for it, or so the government said, so they get to fuck over people like you and people like me and people like Aaliyah, people like Rihanna, people like Lauryn Hill, people like Rakim, people like Nas. You know what I'm speaking.
Yeah. But even back in 2005, when we had spoke to the FBI, I didn't think of her like.
See if you were willing to testify against him, so they would know whether or not they were going to have to move you around.
She also alleges that Jay-Z filmed music videos in foreign locations where young models were present, places far from scrutiny, where powerful connections ensured no one asked questions and nothing was documented. According to Jaguar Wright, silence in the industry isn't accidental. It's engineered through airtight contracts, ironclad NDAs, and massive payouts. She says children and young artists suffer the most because the moment they sign a deal, they stop being treated like human beings and start being handled like assets. Feelings don't matter. Protection doesn't matter. Only profit does. And in Jaguar's view, Rihanna was one of those young artists, a teenager pushed into a machine that saw her value, not her vulnerability.
Someone who was there at the beginning of her career, who took such great care to get her there. She shouldn't have been stripped from her team.
Right.
From her protection, no different than a rose. They went into the garden and they stripped the thorns and they pulled it out, and they've been ripping petals off piece by piece, year for year.
Correct.
Let's change that.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
For her.
Yeah.
And for every other child, girl like her.
And you're doing. Listen, you're doing the same thing that Dream Hampton did when she laid out the R. Kelly case for the prosecutors to finally, after 20 years, go and charge him.
Dream is one of Jay-Z's girls too.
Yeah, but I'm just saying the way that
she to do that right.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you wanted to take him
Paid
out?
her to do Surviving R. Kelly and Bringing Me To. Just like he loaned his lawyer Spiro to Tupac's family so that they can get to the bottom of his unalivement. As if he doesn't
She claims
already know.
Jay-Z was in positions where he could have protected people, but instead, those people were removed, silenced, or quietly replaced so careers could keep moving and money could keep flowing. According to her, anyone who disrupted that system didn't get confronted. They simply disappeared. And this is where things start to connect. Because everything 50 Cent has been doing lately, all the shots, the comments, the talk about exposing Jay-Z didn't come out of nowhere. It goes way back to how Jay treated 50 when he was still coming up in the industry. That experience never left him. Over time, it hardened into resentment. To really understand it, you have to rewind about 16 years. Back then, 50 was on Tim Westwood's show, speaking openly about the industry, the beefs, and the power dynamics behind the scenes. Jay-Z's name came up, and 50 broke it down in a way that stuck. He described Jay as calm, calculated, safe, always in control. But then he added something that didn't quite sit right. Something 50 went on to paint the bigger picture. On a global level, he said there was no real competition. His records were selling in the millions worldwide. His reach was international. His impact was undeniable. But Jay-Z, despite all the hype and dominance inside the US, carried a very different kind of presence. Jay had built a reputation as the safe choice. Smart, calculated, strategic. Someone executives trusted. Someone people felt comfortable standing next to. And that's exactly what bothered 50. To him, that calm, controlled image masked something deeper, something he never forgot. The way Jay moved while 50 was still grinding, still fighting for space, still proving himself. That contrast stayed with him. And over time, it became impossible to ignore.
He does look like his presentation.
So Jay-Z recently said something crazy about he said nobody's scared of 50 Cent.
I think he would have done that if that was 50 Cent. No one's scared of 50 Cent. I want everyone to be clear. No one's scared of 50 Cent.
I think it was kind of taken out of context a little bit, but what do you think about it?
I don't think it was taken out of context. No, I think the guy who was talking to him made him feel like a punk. You see what I'm saying? So he had to say, yo, nobody's scared of 50. Let's get this clear. Nobody is scared of 50. You know, but I'm not the issue. Him making you feel like a punk is the issue. And at the end of the day, I look at it and people don't assess themselves. Even really intelligent people. Jay's a smart guy. You know what I'm saying? He'll analyze other people and other things that they're doing and not actually look at what's happening to him and his transition and difference. But his actual, right now, he's in a real safe space. He created this real safe aura. This is why people walking on the stage and why shit is happening like that. A lot of it wouldn't have been like that if he actually dealt with his issues himself. See, he's a piece of work, man. He always put somebody in front of him. When Jada came for him, he put Beanie in front of him. And Beanie went back and forth with Jadakiss. When Cam came for him, he put True Life in front of him. And they went back and forth. And he just didn't compete.
Him and Alicia are supposed to be doing a song again at the AMAs, but they're going to have like 20 security members on the stage making sure nobody bum rushes the stage.
Makes sense.
I mean, that's crazy. I think everyone was kind of like just going crazy that night anyway at the MTV Awards.
Yeah, but that's not... Nah, everyone wasn't. They just felt... You gotta feel comfortable enough to do that. Like, see, don't get fucked up. I'll fuck up. You do some shit like that, and I'll fuck up. Let me go on record with that shit, because I ain't really with all that dumb shit. I think everybody already know that. And they know, like... They already know. But she wouldn't have walked up there no matter how hot your record is. She'd enjoyed that shit from the seat. Like everybody else. Like, yo. Yeah. Yeah, you wouldn't have walked up there. You know fucking better. Like, it's not that comfortable when I'm around. You know I'm coming with something that can make the response right away if they do something crazy. Right? How you gonna be doing what I'm doing and be comfortable? If you ain't got no
And that's why 50 Cent keeps circling back to Jay-Z, even all these years later. This was never just about competing for the spotlight. In 50's eyes, it's about calling out the games that were played behind closed doors, the power moves, the alliances, and the way people were treated when they were still trying to break through in the same industry. And now, as old stories resurface and new allegations continue to swirl around Jay-Z, the tension feels heavier than ever. Whether coincidence or consequence, the timing has people paying attention. So the real question is, where does this all lead next? And will 50 Cent finally say everything he's been holding back? Let us know what you think in the comments.